Hello and welcome back to Will's World Reviews and More. Today I'll be doing my predictions and results, well not predictions, just results of Wrestlemania 32, which was last night, which was a decent show. I can't say I didn't enjoy it, and apart from a couple of there is the match endings, not too much to grumble about, which is something that you can't really say too much of for WWE recently. So we opened up with Kalisto versus Ryback, which was an okay match. Wasn't one I was excited for. Kalisto retained after using the turnbuckle, which he'd kind of accidentally exposed. And so not much else to say about that. I'm not sure whether that feud will continue. Possibly, I would imagine. So that's a bit meh. Had the 10 Divas tag where the Total Divas won. Nikki returned at the end to celebrate with her sister Brie and the Total Divas. It was a decent match. It was nice to see Paige and Natalia tag in, and Emma and Eva Marie, but Eva Marie and Lana didn't really do too much. It has to be said. Lita revealed that there was a women's championship now, and that would be the prize for the victor of the triple threat later on, which is what we've all been asking for a long while. The Usos beat the Dudleys and got booed and put them through tables. Seems like the Usos are kind of getting the Roman Reigns treatment a little bit for being too clean cut, and obviously there is still a lot of nostalgia for the Dudley Boys. So that's probably what happened there. Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental Championship in the ladder match, which was a decent opener. I don't think it was as good as last year's ladder match, but still some decent spots. I just don't get why they did a similar spot with the ladder breaking this time with Sin Cara and Stardust. But Zack Ryder winning was a great, good feel-good moment for everybody involved, and does beg the question, whether he was even supposed to be involved in the match, and they gave him the title, which was great. But obviously the main centre and the main focus was Owens versus Zayn, and some good bumps in there, and that one that Owens took at the end was a hell of a bump onto the ladder, and he sold it really well. I hope it was selling and not an actual injury. So I'm pleased with that rider. I was really happy. I had a smile on my face for him. So he might go into a feud with somebody else, and maybe Owens and Zayn will continue their feud minus the title, which is not a bad thing, because that feud is going to be something to really look forward to. Jericho and AJ Styles. Jericho got the win. Again, it's not kind of clear why. Again, they'd had the rubber match, so now it's 2-2. And, are they going to do a fifth one and maybe have a submission stipulation? Who knows? It's not clear where that's going, but you'd have to say, why was AJ Styles made to lose on his WrestleMania debut unless Vince McMahon is doing the WCW treatment to, one of TNA's top guys? League of Nations beat the New Day, which seemed strange, but then you had HBK, Mick Foley, and Stone Cold come out, which was an excellent, awesome moment. It got chills seeing HBK and Stone Cold, who are two of my favourite wrestlers of all time, in the same ring together again, and obviously Mick Foley as well. It was a great moment, and they obviously dealt with the League of Nations, and also Austin stunned Xavier Woods, so it seems like New Day are going fully face now, but there's still a little bit tweening, whereas the League of Nations are obviously heel. And I guess there's more legs in this feud. It depends now whether Wade Barrett leaves the company and they decide to just go on a straight-on six-man tag. Originally, I thought this was going to be a handicap match, but it wasn't. It was just 6 men with Barrett on the outskirts, and obviously he interfered to get the win. So we'll see what happens with that. Most disappointing match, I suppose, on the card was Lesnar v Ambrose. I really expected a lot more from this match. It was entertaining, but it didn't really pay off. And the finish was just a bit meh. Ambrose didn't really put up too much resistance and didn't really get a chance to use the weapons he said he was going to use. The chainsaw didn't work. He didn't get to make contact with Barbie. And in the end, Brock just did his usual moves, and Ambrose, was left to look at the lights, and whether this feud's going to continue and maybe they'll put another stipulation in there, or whether Ambrose and Lesnar move on to new things, it's difficult to say, but disappointing, really, for Ambrose to lose at Mania again, and also to not really get any kind of revenge on Brock Lesnar and not really do anything of note. It was a bit of a bland affair. And that was disappointing because Ambrose is one of my favorite guys. So the women's title, Charlotte retained after Ric Flair was stopped Sasha from breaking up the submission on Becky. So maybe now it looks like Bayley's coming up to the main roster and we'll have Bayley v Charlotte for the women's title. Not a bad thing, but it then begs the question now, what happens to Charlotte and Becky and the rest of the Divas that we saw earlier on in the show? Maybe, in my opinion, they should have kept the Divas title as well and had 2 women's belts, but it looks like they've retired the Divas Championship, and Charlotte is a great wrestler, don't get me wrong, but I guess in some ways continues to prove that nepotism is alive and well in WWE. She's a great wrestler, I appreciate that, but I don't think that was the right decision last night. I think Sasha or Becky deserved to pick up a WrestleMania moment and walk out with the belt. Shane v Taker, awesome match, probably the match of the night, I have to say. Taker wins, which does beg the question, why did they bring Shane back? And we all wanted Shane to win, I guess, but we all didn't really want Taker to lose, so it was basically lived up to what we expected it to be. Shane taking that sick bump off the cage was just ridiculous. I couldn't believe that happened. Where this goes from here, I guess Taker's got a lot more respect for Shane now and perhaps might try and put himself in a feud with Vince McMahon for control with Shane of Raw, possibly. I don't know. We'll see what happens on Raw tonight, and maybe we'll have Shane versus Triple H. But great match. That was the match of the night for me. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Not too much of note here in terms of surprises. There were rumours that Tommy Dreamer was going to be in it, and it turned out that Baron Corbin was in it and won, which I'm really, really pleased about because I'm a big fan of Baron Corbin. I know a lot of people don't like him, saying that he's perhaps not the best worker, but to me, he's what WWE are missing. What they tried to do with Braun Strowman, have that giant in kind of fashion, but I'm really pleased for him, and I'm glad he got his WrestleMania moment. And I really hope that this third year of the Battle Royal winners actually brings something good, and maybe he'll not come up to the roster straight away, but he'll stay in NXT for a bit. It's a great win for him. I'm really pleased, and I'm so excited for the new figure that's coming out of him. Just the other surprises of Tatanka being in there, Shaquille O'Neal, which was awesome, and DDP, who's one of my favourite guys of all time, so that was awesome to see him making a bit of a surprise return. Then you had The Rock come out, obviously, and he's announcing the attendance, and you thought, where's this going? And then the Wyatts came out, and you thought, oh no, where's this going? But then, The Rock surprised everyone by challenging one of the Wyatts to a match, which he beat, ripped his clothes off, and it turns out he had his trunks, and he beat Rowan in 6 seconds. And then they were going to beat him up, and John Cena came out. And as much as I don't like John Cena, it was done really well, and it is nice to see him back. I don't want anyone to be injured or seriously hurt. And so now, if he is fully fit, John Cena, but the commentators were kind of implying that he wasn't, and it was just more like a WrestleMania moment for these two. We'll see where that goes. I almost expected John Cena to turn heel on The Rock and have the third match at next year's Mania, but that didn't happen. But still, it was a nice moment, and Cena and Rock are neither one of my favorite competitors, but I enjoyed the moment nonetheless. And then you had the main event, which was boring, to be honest. It was a slow match. Everyone knew what was going to happen. The only decent thing I think out of it was the entrance of Triple H, which was great. Stephanie looked smoking hot, which is not something I can always say about Stephanie, but she did. And Roman won the match and got booed, but who wasn't expecting that? And now it's just a case of whether Triple H decides he wants to go and have a rematch, which he probably will, and he'll lose. And now I think basically we've just been told that Reigns is the guy. We better like it or lump it, and I guess we'll just got to wait now and see what happens on Raw. But like I say, in general, a very good card. It was entertaining. Just a few of the decisions, the AJ Styles, the Brock Lesnar, the Divas match, just a few of the decisions, and possibly Taker and Shane were a bit kind of dubious, but I think we all knew what to expect. But it was great to see Austin, great to see HBK, great to see DDP. I love that Baron Corbin won. Women's Championship coming back was great. seeing Paige as well, and Zack Ryder finally getting his moment in the sun. So lots of good things, a few bad decisions. I wouldn't say bad things, and we'll see what happens on Raw. But great, great match, entertaining. WrestleMania, it didn't disappoint as far as I was concerned. So that's my thoughts. See what you guys think. Put it in the comments, and I'll see you soon with some new videos. Until then, peace.